Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. And that's going to be my third session for GGG MENA regarding cybersecurity. And today we are going to talk about cybersecurity and why are phishing lovers so dangerous. So during the session, as usual, if you guys have any questions or would like to share something or have any comments, feedback, please feel free to engage in the live chat. I will be checking it. And I really would like all the sessions be interactive. So I would really appreciate your input during the session. So let's start. So first of all, if you guys interested about cybersecurity, I recently created, and the branding you're seeing, CSC, it's Cybersecurity Club, recently created an Instagram page. For now, it's very fresh, and I will be posting. Of course, I need to find time and start posting contents on the cybersecurity, because as if you already have seen my sessions or if you're new joining, then my goal is to spread cybersecurity awareness in the community, among people, regardless of the sector, background, so just in life in general, because cybersecurity is one of the top concerns in the world, and it will continue being that. So that if you want to start following and you would like to get some tips on daily, on a general basis, I will not be going into technical details on Instagram page. So there will be general security awareness tips and how you can apply in your life. So please feel free to scan the code and follow me. And I promise I will start posting soon. So thank you. And so today we're going to talk, I said phishing, and phishing is basically, it's the word that we know, it's the term that we know in general in life, when there are scammers and there are hackers, so they apply different techniques, and mostly we hear phishing. Phishing is actually a one of basically techniques of the social engineering. So social engineering is the art of manipulating, influencing, or deceiving you in order to gain control of your computer system. So the hacker might use the phone, email, snail email, or direct contact to gain illegal access. So phishing, spear phishing, CEO fraud are all examples of that, and there will be much more examples that I will talk about a bit later. So social engineers, the danger of social engineers and phishing scammers. So basically, they don't need any special IT skills or deep engineering knowledge. So they use behavioral science, they're great talkers, they use social techniques, and basically they can hack anyone without using any code. So that's why the danger in social engineering, why it's so spread and it can affect anyone. Those people, they don't have really deep IT skills, so they have very good social skills. And this is what they use in order to actually trick people into giving out more information or doing specific actions in order to give access or more. So I'm going to talk about common methods of social engineering. So I listed down all of them. So of course, almost each one of them has other types under them. So it's a very, very big topic, social engineering. Here you can see 9. So it's pretexting, diversion, phishing, water holing, baiting, quid pro quo, tailgating, honey trap, and rogue. I will not go into details to each one of them, because some of them are related to the corporate world. So I would like to make it more applicable to everyone who is joining today. And just to name, to explain a bit more some of them. So for example, pretexting, it's an invented scenario used to engage a potential victim to try and increase the chance that the victim will bite. It's a false motive, usually involving some real knowledge of the victim, like for example, date of birth, or in US, social security number, or your full name, or names of your friends, and so on. So they use the real knowledge of the victim in an attempt to get even more information. And pretexting can affect anyone basically in real life. Then we have phishing. All of us heard phishing. So phishing is the process of attempting to acquire sensitive information, such as usernames, passwords, credit card details. So by masquerading as a trustworthy entity using bulk email, which tries to evade spam filters, emails claiming to be from popular social websites, for example, or banks, or auction sites, or IT administrators of a company you work for. So those are commonly used to lure the unsuspecting public. It's a form of criminally fraudulent social engineering. And the others, if you are interested to know more, just due to the time constraint and also to not make it very boring, I'm not going to explain all of them, but please feel free, for example, take a screenshot or take a picture. And if you're very interested, you can also read about other types of social engineering, other methods. So who can social engineer you specifically? And you, I mean anyone, regardless if you're employed, if you're a student at the university, and regardless of the sector you work for, or you're planning to work for, or you just go on with your life, doing hobbies, different activities, and so on. If you watched my previous presentations, then I talked about different types of hackers and what they're about. So who would social engineer you? It's any type of a hacker, and not only them. Like I mentioned, that social engineers, they don't really have any deep IT knowledge or engineering skills, and they don't need to use any coding in order to basically hack a person, hack a human. So here you can see different types of hackers. And if you also want to know more about them, I do talk about them in the previous talks. Also for GGG MENA, you can find them on YouTube channel and check their cybersecurity, establishing cybersecurity mindset, and I also talk about those types of hackers. So social engineers, they, like I mentioned, they don't have IT, they don't need to have deep IT knowledge. So they just need a phone and an internet connection. That's all they need. They use behavioral science, and again, they hack people, not systems, and they don't use any code for this. So the weakest link in cybersecurity, and now I do want you guys to engage. Please, if you could put in the live chat, what do you think is the weakest link in cybersecurity? Let me know your ideas, thoughts. What is the weakest link in cybersecurity? If you have any ideas now. If not, so basically, the weakest link in cybersecurity is human. It's not a system. It's not what type of operating system you're using, what type of tools you're using, what phone, what laptop, if you have any software antivirus. So it's not really about systems. The weakest link in cybersecurity is a human. That's why social engineering is so dangerous. That's why it's so popular. among bad guys, because it's very easy to target people, especially when they're not aware of the simple security principles, or they don't pay much attention. For lots of bad guys out there, the weakest link in cybersecurity is a human. So it's for them, it's easier to hack into a human rather than actually into a system. And if you also watch my previous presentation, I talk about people are not isolated islands. Why it's really important to have this awareness about simple cybersecurity tips, simple awareness tips, what can be shared, what cannot be shared, who you can talk to, what information you can actually make public for people, and so on. And I also talked about 6 handshake rule. When you have a question, who would want to hack me, who would be interested in me, who would be actually into, finding more information about me, or hacking into my laptop or my cloud storage, and so on. And again, people are not isolated islands. We are all a part of a larger thing. And if one person is affected, everyone is affected. So hackers, they just need one person. So social engineers, they just need one person, one entry point to reach their actual target. It could be a friend that you know, it could be a company you work for, it could be some of your family members, or other peers, or people you, I don't know, do certain activities with, like sports activities and so on. Every one of us uses social media. We have social media accounts. In many cases, we make them public, and then we can see the list of friends of each other, who we follow, who are our followers, how we are connected, what we do together. So we share a lot about our lives. And hacking into your account can hack others, and the other way around. So hacking into your friend's account can hack into yours. So that's why it's very important to make sure that we stay aware of security, and we do spread knowledge with the people around that we communicate on a daily basis, on a regular basis, because everything in this world right now is about data. Data is the most expensive resource in our life, and it will continue being that. So, there's data being traded on dark web every second, and humans produce 2.5 quintillion bytes of data every day, and quintillion is a number with 18 zeros. Imagine how much data we as humans produce all the time. So, of course, data is one of the most precious resources, because it can be sold. It can be even sold by different companies. Doesn't need to be on the dark web. It can be sold from one company to another for sales and marketing purposes, and so on. And as more devices, appliances, and vehicles are hooked up to the internet, physical safety is at risk. Hackers can break into our home devices. They can snoop around through our home security cameras. They can listen to us through our home assistant devices. They can gain control of our cars. They can hack into implantable devices in our bodies, such as pacemakers or insulin pumps, for example. And as more and more of our sensitive data is maintained about us, like biometric information is gathered and stored, such as our fingerprints, eye scans, facial data, DNA. What will the future look like if organizations can't keep it secure? Because everything is online. Everyone is online, and everything about us is online. We store data everywhere. We share data everywhere, and with different organizations, right? With companies we work for, with friends on social media, so everywhere. And it's very important that each one of us understands the priority of the cybersecurity in our daily lives, because if more people are aware of just simple tips and simple things that need to be done in order to have cyber resilient community, then for hackers it will be much harder to hack into a system or to hack a person, to hack your friend or family member. So moving forward, I do want to show you an example of pretexting. So I showed you, so we're gonna move to a video right now, what is pretexting, and to basically, you can see the example of it. Okay, so you saw an example of pretexting, one of the techniques in social engineering. And basically, pretexting, it's when you invent a scenario, make up a story to engage a potential victim to try and increase the chance that the victim will bite. It's a false motive, usually involving some real knowledge of the victim, like I mentioned in the beginning, like date of birth, social security number. In this case, the social engineer knew the name of the IT guy and basically made up a story, and also knew the name of the actual real employee of the company, the new employee. So probably Sue, the new employee, posted something on social media, so she just started with a new company, and that's how social engineers use this information and actually were able to spoof the actual phone number of the company, so to make it look like the call is coming from the inside, and to use Sue's name in order and certain techniques, of course, like a baby crying, and I'm so scared. I'm a new employee. I just started and I forgot a password. Please help me, otherwise I will get in trouble. I will get fired. So they use the emotional technique in order to to affect the human's nature. The human's nature is to help each other, to support each other, to actually the IT guy was emotionally touched and felt for the new employee, and of course wanted to help by resetting the password. So it's sophisticated. Social engineers are very sophisticated people and very socially intelligent. And that's in many cases, of course, if you see bulk email sending, bulk emails being sent out, or that are very, very faceless, and you can get them on email, sometimes SMS or even WhatsApp messages. But also there's lots of sophisticated social engineers that use different techniques in order to actually lure you to do something for them, to basically ask for your help or provide more information. And the next one is phishing example. So I'm not sure if anyone, we will see, let's try the video if you can hear the sound. I hope you will. If not, then we can just turn it off. But let's see. It's a fast phishing example. So phishing is basically voice phishing, when social engineers they just use their voice, so the phone call, in order to try to get more information out of you, or do something else. So we can try. Let's try to watch this video of a phishing example now. Okay, for some reason I see it's not switching to the video. Anyways, there are lots of phishing examples that you can find on YouTube, and they're pretty cool just to see how people can just so easily, so effortlessly use different social techniques, emotional techniques, and behavioral science techniques in order to make people, even IT people from cell carriers organizations, or like you saw in the previous one, IT guys, to give out some information, sensitive, very sensitive information, or to make a certain action that lets bad guys into the system, or gives out very sensitive information to these bad guys. So it's very, very interesting how it works. And those people, like I mentioned, they're not doing anything with the coding. They're not breaking into certain systems. They're not exploring, finding, and exploiting those vulnerabilities. They just use their social techniques. Okay, let's move to phishing. What is phishing? The process of attempting to acquire sensitive information, such as usernames, passwords, credit card details, by masquerading as a trustworthy entity using bulk email, for example, which tries to evade spam filters, or emails claiming to be from popular social websites, or banks, or something like you won a lottery, or IT administrators of your companies. So all those forms of phishing, they're basically trying to get people to open certain links, to type in sensitive information like your passwords, usernames, to download some attachments that have malware, trojans. So there's basically phishing has lots of other types under this. So it continues to be one of the most efficient right now among social engineers. Basically, phishing is an attempt to steal account information by pretending to be a trustworthy person via email. And why do people phish? Like I mentioned, phishing continues to be the easiest and most effective way to steal information from unsuspecting internet users. In fact, the estimates predict over $5 billion is lost every year to phishing scams across the globe. It's crazy, crazy numbers. Hackers sometimes choose to hack organizations or people based on moral reasons, on top of not only for financial gain. We think only financial gain, but no, there can be different other motivational factors like moral reasons or revenge or something else. And again, if you look at the previous presentation about types of hackers, there can be a variety of different motivational factors why people do it. It's not always for money. In most cases it is, but not always. So, types of phishing: spear phishing, session hijacking, email spam, content injection, web-based delivery, so phishing through search engines, link manipulation, vishing, impersonation. So those different types of phishing, and one of the most popular ones, I'm not sure if I listed all of them, but this is one of the most popular. And basically, I'm not going to go into details for each one of them, but spear phishing, for example, it's also a phishing, but it's more sophisticated. Spear phishing is targeted at, it's a small focus targeted attack on a particular person or organization with a goal to penetrate their defenses. So spear phishing attack is done after research on the target and has a specific personalized component designed to make the target do something against their own interest. And that's why spear phishing is more sophisticated, because it involves research, involves more knowledge on a specific person, for example, organization. And yeah, so spear phishing is a bit more sophisticated. While phishing in general can be just sent out to many users out there based on the database of email addresses that they have or mobile phone numbers that they have, and in hopes that one or more people clicks the link or gives out sensitive information. And moving forward, and again, if you want to know more about the rest, please take a photo, a screenshot, and just feel free to go into, you can see there's so many of them, 17, so you can see, you can read about them. Some of them you probably heard, some of them could be new. So if you're interested, please feel free to go and check for yourselves. So the most important thing is, what can you do? And I'm not sure, like, if you guys can, if any of you would like to share something from their personal experience. For example, from my experience, there's lots of tries I discovered that were targeted at me, not specifically like spear phishing, just phishing, like lotteries, for example, calls, phishing calls saying that, hey, you won in a lottery organized by so-and-so, and in order to collect the prize, the money prize, please give us your credit card number, for example, a debit card number, or bank account number. Or even one time I was asked a username for logging into my mobile banking. So there's lots of things like this. Sometimes they even call, and you can see their calls coming from other countries. And the moment you pick up those calls, then they immediately disconnect. So in hopes that you call back, and it would be a paid number. So you're basically losing money on that. on this. And sometimes, not sometimes, it's actually happened a few times on Dubizzle when you post an ad and you're trying to sell something, and we all do that. We check Dubizzle, we can sell something, we can buy something from there. So if you post an ad and you're trying to sell something, there are sometimes people that are contacting you, and they're saying something like, "Oh, hey, I'm going to pay you this money today. I will transfer immediately. Okay, if your phone is in a good condition, then I'll just transfer money. Can you just send it via courier? I will send a courier or something like this." And then they send you a link from mPost, or it like the link looks like it's mPost link, but it's not really. So they would like you to enter your credit card details or something like this in there so you can receive money. And this different tricks that they use. So basically, it looks like it's a legit website. It looks like it's a legit link or something like this, but then it's not. So we always need to double check what's going on. And it's always weird when strangers ask you to share a bit more information that they're actually supposed to know. And I don't know if you also received some WhatsApp messages, sometimes even WhatsApp messages, not only emails from central banks, for example, pretending to be a central bank of the UAE. It looks like a PDF file that they say, okay, your account has, they're not even using the name. It's very bulk out sent, like, dear sir or dear madam, your account will be suspended if you don't provide this information right now urgently. Or there can be calls from police asking to send more information to them, different details, threatening and trying to create this sense of fear in you that you give out more sensitive information to them. So they pretend to be authorized organizations when they're not. And just remember that here, Central Bank of the UAE or police will never ask you for such details ever, because they already know all the details about you. And what can you do? Basics. Install antivirus. That's very, very important to install antivirus on your machine. And better if you, of course, it's better to pay for antivirus. You can do your own research and pick the one that you like the most. There's lots of them, right, out there, and there's public research and different comparisons between them. And it depends if you want it for personal use or for family use or for corporate use. So installing antivirus is very important, and it needs to be, it cannot be done like a free version of antivirus, or I don't know. In some countries, they actually look for publicly posted keys to different antivirus, in hopes that they can get it for free. But please be careful, because if you get something for free and there's activation key for free, you also risking to be downloading some malware or any other harmful software that can be collecting information about you or infecting your device. So it's always important to download antiviruses from trusted resources. Pay attention to website you visit. Like I mentioned, hackers, social engineers, they're trying to make it look like it's a legit website. So if you follow the link, it looks like it's very legit. For example, there is a very popular PayPal scam when you click on the link and you're supposed to be receiving money. Like, for example, someone is from Dubizzle saying again, hey, I'm gonna buy it and I will transfer money to you through PayPal. So here you go, like, click the link and you just need to receive the money there, or something like this. They give you some weird instructions. So when you click the link and you're being redirected to the website, looks a lot like PayPal. And if you are not paying too much attention, you will think, oh, yeah, it's PayPal. So it asks you to log in, and where you enter your username and password. And then the moment you do it, social engineers, hackers, they immediately get your information, so about you, and your username, your password, and you get an error message that there was a problem with your login or details incorrect, but they already got your real username and login. And yeah, that's not only with PayPal. There can be different websites using the same technique. They look like they're very legit, but please always pay attention and try to not click on the redirect link that you receive. Try to log in going through a different way. Just like go directly to the website yourself, not through redirected link, and log in from there. So it's always better. It takes 1 second extra to do it, but it's much safer to do it this way rather than clicking certain links and being redirected to websites. Double check all links, like from your all SMSs that you receive, from social media, from emails. You can hover over when it comes to the emails, like you can hover with your mouse and you can see where it actually takes you. From SMS, you can, I would recommend never actually go to any website from your SMS link. Just type it in your web browser on your own. For example, if you receive an SMS, hey, there's a delivery waiting for you, please submit more details, or please pay customs fee, or something like this. It's also a very popular scam, especially during holiday seasons, but it happens on a regular basis as well, that okay, there's a delivery waiting for you from Aramex or from UPS, from FedEx, depends where you're based, and you feel like, yeah, it's legit, and you don't feel like there's anything wrong, and you click on the link and you provide more information, and this is how social engineers, this is how hackers get your sensitive information from you. So please try to double check all links, and in most cases try to not click on them, but actually go reach those sources, websites, through your web browser by manually typing them in. It's always much safer. And then question everything. So that's the point, question everything. It means that whatever you receive, which seems too good to be true, or seems a bit like there is something not right, when you have this feeling, it's probably is not right. And question everything is double check everything. If you have a friend that is asking, that is being in need and asking you from their social media account, Facebook or Instagram, asking you for some money that they need to borrow from you, and they will give you the next day, and it's very urgent, and it's needs to be done right away. So that's always a bit weird. And I understand that in your nature, you want to help your friend, or you want to help out a person that you know. Or there's different people that create social media accounts or different groups on social media about donations for different causes, and someone has a very serious illness, or there is animals that needing more donations. Please always double check those sources. Always. There's a lot of trustworthy sources where you can see, okay, this is legit. And also when you search online and you try to search and see more resources, maybe reviews, maybe what they're doing. If it's an animal shelter, maybe you can Google them and find out more about them, and see more mentions about them in different sources, just to make sure it's legit. So always question everything you see, you get. You can never be too careful, especially right now in the age of technology. And please, I'm really asking you to be careful, and yeah, just try to stay alert at all times, no matter how hard you want to help or how much you want to help. You know, when someone from your friends or your family members, someone you know needs help urgently, they probably will call you. They probably will ask something with their voice. And if you're receiving a message on social media, there's nothing that is so urgent that requires your immediate action. You can always take an extra minute and call that person, double check, and calling will not hurt. And if they're not picking up, most likely it's not them writing you and asking for money or asking for some help, or I don't know, providing codes that you receive on your mobile and so on. So always double check, question everything. Do not share your email or your mobile and email with everyone. So there's one case that happened on LinkedIn. There was a post, and it's real story. I saw this post, and there's many thousands of people that saw this post on LinkedIn. When there was a lady in the States, I'm not sure which state was it exactly in America. She decided to be creative with her CV, and she sent a resume on a cake to Nike. And through a delivery person, she sent a resume. She wrote it on the cake with all her personal details, and she sent it to Nike office. So, and she also took a picture of that cake with all her personal information, right? Years, what company she worked for, what year she was employed, as what person, what position she had, her physical address, her email address, her full name, everything about her was written on that cake. So imagine CV. And she sent it to Nike, and then she took a picture of it and she posted on LinkedIn saying she was applying for marketing position. So saying, look, this is my creative way of a CV for a marketing position at Nike. This is what I did. And she put it publicly on LinkedIn. Imagine how many people, thousands of people, saw all her information about her. And I understand, yes, maybe it's cool, it's good visibility because people will see and might find it creative and hire you, but also she exposed so much of her personal information to everyone out there, and you never know who is there reading or seeing it and how they will use it. They might not use it next day or a week later, 2 weeks later. They can use this information, this data against you like a year later or 2 years later. So always be careful what you share and who you share with. Don't say out loud your mobile phone and email address when you go to shopping malls, for example, because they always ask, right, for some loyalty programs and so on. They ask you about all those things, but try to not spell them out loud in front of all the people out there, because you never know who you're sharing this information with, who is next to you and who can hear you. Again, you cannot be too alert. You cannot be too careful with such things. And then the other one, it's a bit grayed out. You can see, I put keep your social media accounts private. But in this case, it's very hard to say keep it private. It's a good step. It's a very small step that you can do in order to protect yourself. So whatever you share, only your friends can see. But at the same time, if you are an influencer, for example, for you it's not an option, right? You need it to be public. Or even if you are not an influencer, you don't need very good visibility on social media, and you keep it private. But again, like I said before, no man is an island, and everyone is connected. So if one of your friends gets hacked, and bad guys get access to their social media account, they immediately can see anything that you keep private from their account. So it's a very small step. But again, if you keep it private, it doesn't mean that you're safe and you can share everything on social media. So just keep it in mind. Be careful with what you download. Of course, just anything that you download, all attachments, I don't know, different software, different applications, please always be careful and double check that it's a trusted source, that there are some reviews if it's application, or if there's attachments, again, who they're coming from, and so on. In a lot of cases, in phishing techniques, there's malware techniques that bad guys are sending you some attachments that can contain that can contain malware that can be sitting on your devices and collect information about you, or keylogging, like collecting whatever you type on your laptop, for example. So and not always it can bring your machine down. So sometimes it might be sitting there and working in the background, and you don't even know that it's collecting all the information. So be careful what you download. And another thing, last but not least, it's update all your software on time. It's very important, and a lot of people don't do it. Even in IT sectors, a lot of people don't do it because they think, okay, I can update my browser later. I can update my antivirus later. And this can wait and that can wait. I have urgent stuff to do, and I don't have time to upgrade my phone now. I need to use it for something. So please keep in mind that updating software on time is a big, big thing, because data breaches, hacks, cyber attacks, and identity thefts have been all in the news all the time. And threat actors continue to come up with new methods to steal information and gain access to systems. And security, updating software for security is the number one reason to update software immediately. Software vulnerabilities enable cyber criminals to access a person's computer. So threat actors see these vulnerabilities as open doors, enabling them to plant malware on people's systems. Malware enables threat actors to take control of computers and steal information. Malware can encrypt files, documents, other programs, so they are unusable. Security patches that are in those software updates block these open doors in the software to protect a device from attacks. So it's very important to update it on time. If you've seen in the news, iOS had some vulnerability in their Apple keychain where they store all their passwords. And they immediately released an update, and they urge all people to upgrade immediately to update their software, iOS version, so in order to close this vulnerability. And then, for example, Google Chrome is considered one of the most vulnerable vulnerable browsers as well, because it's widely used. It's very, very popular. And of course, when there's a vulnerability, then they immediately patch it and roll it out. So, and ask all the users to update the web browser in order to close any security vulnerabilities. So it's very important to update your software on time, because those companies, they roll out updates not only just for better user experience or else, they also take care of the security. And bad guys, they often use this humans behavior, not upgrading on time, as open doors. So please do it on time, immediately. Be careful when using public spaces. So I talked about it before as well. Your password should not be visible to anyone. Your screen should not be visible to anyone. And that's very good to have is a privacy screen. Privacy screen cover basically helps you to go into public space and not be worried that anyone can see your screen from different angles and see what you do there, what you open, what you type, what information you share, and so on. So privacy screen covers is a very, very good thing to have, especially if you like to go to different coffee shops and work from there, and deal with sensitive information on your machines when in public space. Do not leave your devices unattended. And of course, for people who are not based in safe countries, like in the UAE, for example, many countries are not like in UAE, where you can leave all your stuff unattended and nothing happens to them. And in many countries, in many big cities, of course, it's common sense not to leave your devices unattended. But even if you're in a safe country or in a safe space, please at least lock your screens. It's very important. Lock your screens to make sure that no one can manipulate your device or or see something that they should not be seeing. Avoid using public Wi-Fi. You never know who can be connected to it. So, for example, when first of all, it can be bad guys connected to the same network. This is one. And secondly, if someone has an infected device and they connect to the network, unintentionally, they can spread it to they can infect other devices through the same network. And it's not their intention to do it. They don't even know that they have been infected. Their device has been infected. But this how it can happen. So there's lots of reasons not to use public Wi-Fi, especially open Wi-Fi connections. So lots of places out there, and I really don't understand why that if you go to some restaurants and you go to hotels, they have open Wi-Fi services, networks, and anyone can connect to them, absolutely anyone. And even if they have some password protected Wi-Fi network, then it's usually something very simple, like to buy 2020. Absolutely something very, very easy. So imagine if they don't have basic security protection for their network, imagine what else can be wrong there. So it's very important to try to not use public Wi-Fis. I don't know, use your hotspot, find ways to avoid public connections. And of course, I said it before, do not share your personal information out loud. Email tips. I think it's one of the important. I decided to put it separately when talking about all these tips. So when you receive an email, and all of us receive those emails, some get filtered, some not, because they can be very sophisticated. There's always, when in lots of scams, majority of phishing scams, there's always a sense of urgency or fear. So that you need to do something right now, that you need to take action right now. So then they manipulate on your fear or the sense of urgency that someone is in trouble or you will be in trouble if you don't do it right away. So just remember, nothing in this world, the world will not fall or crumble down if you don't do action right now at the same very second, especially if it's sent by email. Imagine if it's sent by email. Is it really that urgent? Is it really that urgent that you need to do it right away, like in the next 5-10 minutes? No, it's not. So always check. The sense of urgency and fear is usually something that always a red flag in the email. And please always double check. Even if it's an internal email, if you are employed and it's coming from internal person, employee, or your colleague, always double check. Give them a call, write on different on your personal chat, like private chat to each other. Better call, of course, just to hear the voice and double check. Double checking will never hurt anyone. Double check email address as well, always. They can seem as they're legit, but theirs can be some typo, or there can be 2 letters misplaced or switched, or the domain might be slightly different. So when you give a first glance, you think it's legit email. It looks okay. But if you double check and look closer, you might spot some very small differences. And that's always important to read again and again, especially if you get sense of urgency and fear. Double check email address, and then give a call to a person and check if this is really urgent, if this is really legit. Hover first. It comes to the links. If you have any links in the email, if you mouse over, you can see where this link actually takes you, if it's really legit or not. And again, even if it's legit, looks like legit, please try to not click on the link, but go to the source from your web browser, not from the email link clicking. And then, like I mentioned, I wanted to highlight it separately, asking does not make you seem unprofessional or not knowledgeable. Asking does not put you into any trouble. So if you, for example, a student and you have your university network and it gets scammed, or you get scammed and you've been asked for something weird and something urgent and so on, and you might get that fear that you get in trouble if you don't do it, if you don't follow the instruction in the email, or if you ask, you might seem not knowledgeable and in front of, I don't know, your peers or your teachers. This is not true. Asking is always, it actually shows that you are able to analyze and you have critical thinking, and you always can show the reason. What's the reason behind you asking? So asking is not bad, it's always good. And again, you can never be too careful. Anatomy of a phishing email. So that's a source coming from Curricular, and they, like KnowBe4, they also do the security awareness trainings. Pretty interesting, and they do it in animation. So if you ever want to check something, you can check them. So anatomy of a phishing email, you can see here that, for example, here you can see the difference in domain. So from, they basically, it looks absolutely the same, but instead of .co, it has .org. So it's slight difference that you can spot. Maybe it's even more noticeable because here you can see the domain name is very long. So if they might sometimes just switch two letters, like I and C or something like this, and it will be even harder to spot. That's why it's always good to check your emails thoroughly. And then you see sense of urgency and fear, that warning, please verify your account, and we're deleting all employee accounts. So basically there is a sense of urgency, a sense of fear that something needs to be done right now, right away. And it's a textbook phishing email, having all red flags in it. And real life example of phishing I showed in my other presentations as well. So that's actually my WhatsApp that was sent to me, and the person texting me was pretending to be my CEO. They even put a photo of my CEO on their WhatsApp, and they were trying to lure me to buy some iTunes gift items from Carrefour. So, and it's another type of scam when they lure you into buying something urgently, gift items, give them then codes so that they can use, and basically, you just losing money. They can use those gift codes, take from you, and then they get money to spend on whatever. So that was sent to me. A person pretended to be my CEO, needed my help. You see, it's urgently. There's words. I urgently need your assistance to help purchase. So, and promising to give me back money later. So again, the sense of urgency, something needs to be done right away. And when I called Sami, my CEO, he never picked up the phone because it was not him. And because I had his number, it was not him. And I tried calling the same number, and also the person didn't pick up. So apparently it was a scam, even if it was obvious for me from the beginning, but I still do double checking all the time. And I keep mentioning it all the time. We'll never get tired of mentioning it. There's no such thing as being 100% secure, and you will be breached. So those are sayings of my Harvard professor, Randall Fritzsche. He talked about it all the time, that we need to understand that there's no such thing as being 100% secure. And it's not even you might be breached, you will be breached. It's just a matter of time, the matter of luck. And I also refer to quantum physics a lot. It's like with Schrodinger's cat, which is dead and alive at the same time. It's like there's 50% chance, and you never know the outcome until you open the box. So here the same in life, you never know who you might be connected to, who you might know, who can be connected to you, who got breached or who got hacked, or who of your family members get affected, or what company sold your mobile number or email address. You never know if it's in the dark web and what kind of data on you is in the dark web. Well, to be fair, all of us have some data being in the dark web and being sold to someone, but there is no need to panic. We just need to be aware and be prepared. This is why each one of us has to remember simple tips, general tips, share this information with people around, share with family members, educate people around, and just remember that's very important to apply on a daily basis in real life. And it can, because anyone can be targeted. It's again, it's the matter of time, the matter of luck, and we never know. So, and just to close it again, what I mentioned, pass your knowledge on, start forming that cybersecurity mindset. And I hope it was very useful for you. I hope it was not boring. It was interesting. I would be very happy to connect on LinkedIn. You can find me by my name. And if you are interested, and follow my Instagram page for Cybersecurity Club. So would like to hear your feedback. If you have any questions, please feel free to connect. I'm always open to different discussions, and I'm always happy to share as much as I can, and I try to keep it interesting. So any feedback would be great. Thank you so much.